Well, good Thursday morning, and welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning, we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, where you can see my handsome young guest sitting across the desk here this morning. He is a candidate for Carroll County School Board of Education, District 5. I want to let you know before we start this that early voting for the midterm primary general elections begins on Monday. That's the second day of May, and here in Carroll County, you can do it at the Carroll County Elections Office on College Street from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And just to get you a heads up on that first week, and I believe the first Saturday, it's early voting as well.
Yes,
and
sir.
That'll be from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock. As we do approach the early voting period, we are wrapping up our conversations with the local candidates today. We are speaking with one candidate from, again, Board of Education, Carroll County District 5. His name is Bill Kecskes, and I'm assuming a lot of people in that district do know him as he did hold a seat. I don't know if it was the District 5 seat on the Board of Education previously.
It was called District 3 at the time.
But it's pretty much the same area. You haven't moved since then or anything.
It's the same area. We haven't moved, no.
All right. Bill Kecskes, tell us why you are running for the Board of Education this time. I should point out that Donald Nixon, who has served for a long time, he decided not to seek re-election this year, so there are three candidates running for that seat to replace him, and you are one of them.
Let me first introduce myself. I'm Bill Kecskes, and I had to bring a sign along because folks have a hard time spelling my last name, but that is it. And I would like folks to find out more about me and my platform on my Facebook page, which is Bill Kecskes for School Board. Why am I running again? Because I have more to give to this county. I served once before, and we were a busy board, and we did a lot of things for the entire county. But one thing that I'm proudest of is we rid the county of classroom trailers, no more. We built a brand new Mount Zion Elementary. We bought land for a Mount Zion High School, but we also expanded all of the other schools, not only in the district, but in the county. And we were a very busy board, and our meetings often lasted, no joke, till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's a good way to encourage the press not to report on stuff.
Well, they usually left about 7 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah, they left at 7. And why am I running again? I have more to give, more to serve. This is a community service position. Mm-hmm. It pays $200 a month, and that's donated to school fundraisers. So you do it for no money, but I want to serve again.
You talked about being part of those projects, and you had written an article. I don't know if you submitted it to the Star News, which you do. I don't know if you work for them or you submit
No,
articles.
I do not work for them.
You submit articles to them frequently.
I'm a guest columnist.
But you'd sent me an article as well talking about the history of a piece of land that was purchased back in 2000, and you commented that. And you were talking about, and you've also talked about Villa Rica's growth. But going back to the things that you were part of early on, was that proactive or was that reactive as far as the growth? Was the Board of Education ahead of the growth?
No, we were very proactive. On my third meeting, we had to get rid of the superintendent, and he left quietly. And I found, and I persuaded the board that John Zahner would be a great superintendent. He's an absolutely phenomenal superintendent for 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a star now on the education level, right?
He's a big star now. He is the executive director of the State Superintendent Association. Mm-hmm. I had a very close working relationship with him, and I even had a close working relationship after I left the board. Two things that I did for the county and Mount Zion after I left the board was, at his request, I negotiated a 3-way agreement between the Water Authority, the County Commission, with Herman Ayers as the interim chairman, to build a water pipeline to service a Mount Zion high school. Otherwise, we couldn't have built that high school without water. That's number one. Number two, in February of '08, John asked me to call the superintendent of the Carrollton City School and negotiate a more favorable SPLOST division. The division that I negotiated with Mr. Wilson netted the county $2 million more. Anytime you can find money like that. I also, and I caught a lot of heat for this because this is not really a board member's duty, I persuaded the governor's staff to transfer $4.3 million in order to build the Mount Zion Elementary School. Otherwise, there was no money to build it. They were just going to put more Band-Aids on a school that has a bad sewage system, not only in the playground for the kids, but in that first wing. It was nasty. It was awful. So I'm really, really proud of the new school. I live a quarter mile from it, and I see it every day, and it's a source of pride.
Bill Kecskes, one of three candidates running for Board of Education, Carroll County Schools District, to represent District 5. If anybody who's met Bill or talked to Bill before, you'll know he's not at a loss for words for things. So I'm going to try things that you did touch on just now in that in your introduction. You talked about the superintendent. If you were elected, there's a good chance in the next 4 years that you'll have to be part of a group to pick a new superintendent. I'd say there's a good chance. I could be wrong, but
I would hope sooner than 4 years, and we'll get into this big topic. You have to have trust between the board and the superintendent. The superintendent works for the board. The board selects the superintendent. That's written into state law. But you have to have trust between them. And right now, that trust is just a little bit thin with me because of this incredible disconnect between the central office and the city of Villa Rica. Specifically, 2 weeks ago, I went on my own, went to visit Mayor McDougall and City Manager Barber to talk about the tax allocation district and how it will impact our school system if it's not approved. Mr. Fuqua wants to build 430 residential units, and if there is a tax allocation district, the city will control how that growth comes about. And actually, they want to limit those apartments and townhomes to 55 and older. So not a lot of kids coming. Otherwise, if the county commission and the school board do not approve that tax allocation agreement by June 30th, Mr. Fuqua will be free to do what he wants on his land, as most other developers can within zoning limitations. And I could readily, quickly see in those rental apartments 1,100 students showing up. And we don't have space in Villa Rica. Villa Rica High School right now is rapidly approaching its capacity of 1,625 students. I visited the campus. I toured it. There's not a square inch to put a single trailer on that property, not that you would even want to. It's a beautiful, magnificent campus worthy of our county. And then deeper into our conversation with Mr. Barber and Mayor McDougall, there are 23 pending developments, residential developments in Villa Rica that will render 5,300 housing units, and they will come online in the next 2 to 3 years. I can't even imagine 5,300 housing units, how many kids will come out of that. Everybody wants to go to exit 24 to commute to Atlanta. That's wonderful. But that impact will be huge. Now, here's the disconnect with the central office where my trust is running thin. The city manager and the mayor invited the superintendent to a meeting in Villa Rica to discuss these very things. And he instead sent an assistant. And the assistant tried to school the manager and the mayor on how to do student projections, future enrollment projections. And their metric is to look backwards in the rearview mirror. And how many permits did you issue last year? Whoa, that will be our metric for forecasting. And last week, at a school board meeting on the 18th of April, the school board had a mandated facilities report that they had to submit to the state, and they're projecting our county is only going to gain 78 students in the next 5 years. That's outrageous. It's ridiculous. Okay? So I am urging, absolute, whether win, lose, or draw in this race, urging the school board to hold a public forum in Villa Rica with the city manager, with the mayor, get the input of the public, because this is going to be a huge problem. Now, there's one immediate short-term solution, and that is the school board owns 100 acres on 166, just south of Fairfield. They've held it in title since December of '02. I'm urging them to build a very large high school of 15 for at least 1,500 students, and that's a temporary Band-Aid. Beyond that, I don't know, because and I'm not even sure they have the money to build that high school on Hewlett Road, because the SPLOST money in SPLOST 5 and SPLOST 6 are dwindling rapidly, and I don't know when SPLOST 7 can even be put before the voters. But it will be a hard sell for people in Roopville and Bowden and Mount Zion and Whitesburg. They're going to think, well, you know, this is not us, it's Villa Rica. No, Villa Rica is us. And we have to think in a large view for the whole county. In District 5 alone, where I'm running for election, it goes for 20 miles from Ithaca Gin Road and 61 down to Highway 16 and Prospect Road.
It's kind of the most oddly shaped school district,
well,
isn't it, in Carroll County?
It's oddly shaped, and it was deliberately designed like that to be representative of the county. And here's how representative it is. Students who live in this district attend 12 different schools. Now, they call this the Mount Zion cluster, and I love Mount Zion since the day I got here, okay? But how do you tell students in Temple High, Villa Rica High, Central High, Ithaca Gin Elementary, and Sand Hill, and Sharp Creek, who's going to tell them that they live in the Mount Zion cluster? We have to stop thinking this cluster thing. Now, I love what Mr. Coward has done in branding positive thoughts. And yes, we are 24 strong. We are 24 schools. And we offer some of the best education. But we got to get away from these 5 clusters centered at around 5 high schools. When I talk about what they offer in the curriculum, I got to tell you one thing about Mount Zion High, and I am so proud of them. They have a vocational program. They have a farm. They have cattle on the school campus. Okay, well, that's a big business in Carroll County.
Absolutely.
Okay, they have the most phenomenal greenhouse, and they raise money selling plants out of the greenhouse. I love it. They have a plot of ground that they plow and grow crops on. I love that too. But the cows, I got to tell you this, in walking, I've doggone near walked myself silly all over District 5. You can smell cows all over the district, okay? And I didn't think about it as smelling like money until I went to the flea market and saw the owner there, Tim. And Tim slaughters cows at the processing center. I'm going to tell you this. How about 600 a week he slaughters? 600 cows a week, that's money. And he sells them retail at pretty much half price in his meat market. Okay? Talk about fresh meat. Okay, and bypassing everybody else. But that is Carroll County's business. You go through Mount Zion, and Coach McWater and his son, I've watched his son grow up, and they have the M&M Ranch. And Coach McWater has phenomenal acreage with cows. They're everywhere. But that is Carroll County's business, agricultural business.
It is 8:45, Bill, and I have to pay a bill. So let me take our first break.
Let me buy
here.
a commercial.
All right, well, we can talk about that during the break. Yeah, Bill Kecskes, one of 3 candidates for the Carroll County Schools District Board of Education, District 5 seat, and we'll take our first break, come back, and continue our conversation. If you have any questions or comments, I do encourage you to post those to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and I'll look at those during the break. Community Voice is brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy has offered a challenging college preparatory education for 60 years. With over 500 graduates, we have maintained a 100% college acceptance rate. Over 90% of our students earn acceptance to their first choice of college or university, and over the past 5 years, our students have earned over $10 million in scholarship offers. Our students are creating a legacy. Come, be a part of our family and create your own legacy today. To learn more, visit us at oakmountain.us.
8:47. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice Program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We're talking with Bill Kecskes, one of 3 candidates running for Board of Education, Carroll County Schools District, to represent District 5. Bill, along with Tom Sizemore and Curtis Steps, are the candidates for that district, and having going to be tough to get this conversation into a half hour with Bill Kecskes.
Well, I got a couple hours.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, Bill. But here's you promise you won't, if you're elected, you promise you won't make the board meetings go longer.
No, absolutely not. Okay. Old people have to go to bed early.
Yeah. What do you want? I'm just going to let you put it out there, Bill, because I know you've got ideas. So you put everything out there this morning.
Jackie and I came here with the girls 25 years ago, 1997. First person I met was Chicken Huddleston. The policeman, the only policeman in Mount Zion. And Chicken Huddleston took me in to
jail?
No.
Okay.
Took me in to meet the mayor of 17 years, Clyde McWhorter. And Clyde McWhorter and I were very, very good friends for until his passing. And then Clyde McWhorter walked me across the street to meet David Butler, the principal of Mount Zion Elementary. And David Butler, when he heard that I was retired, immediately, right then and there, signed me up for a 6 weeks long-term substitution teaching assignment for Miss Huffstickler's 4th grade.
And you should talk about that. I mean, you do have a history. You were an educator.
Well,
that's probably important.
I substitute taught for 4 years in Carroll County, and out of the 24 schools, I've had the honor of teaching in 21 of them. So I've seen the schools. And yes, I did go on to earn 2 graduate degrees from University of West Georgia in secondary education, curriculum, and instruction. So I'm well versed in that. And I went on to Douglas County to teach for 10 years. 10 years will get you a pension, and old people need to live on a pension. Mm-hmm. And I taught at Chapel Hill High School. I taught economics and government, and I absolutely loved that. But I got to tell you about the 4th person I met was in church that Sunday on the 3rd day. And I met Donald Nixon, and he mentored me for 6-7 years thereafter. And he's the one that, quickly implored me to become a teacher and helped me while I was on the board. I got elected. I've only been here 5 years, and I got elected to the board in 2002. So it takes a community, and I am forever grateful of the good people there. But I really, really got to tell you that District 5 is so big and so wide, and it cuts right across the center of the county, that it is representative of the county.
It's about the same population as every other district, but as far as size, it does it does stretch.
It does indeed stretch, sir.
Into Metro Carrollton, if we can say.
There you go. Now, one topic I want to talk about that's near and dear to my heart is transparency. Transparency, whether it's between two people or 200,000 people, is what instills trust. Okay? If I know what you're thinking and doing, and you're transparent about that and honest about that, and me too, that instills trust.
As a board member, can you insist on transparency? Because I'm assuming you're talking about the higher up and it being brought down, information being trickled down.
Absolutely can. In fact, it's in one of the many board policies. Few people know this, but it's the board that makes the policies, and the superintendent must carry them out. And would you believe there's 101 policies, very specific. I've read them all. I understand them all, but I don't know if some people have. One policy I would like to get rid of and just make it an even 100 is it's still the policy of this county to have corporal punishment. I'm not a believer in it.
Are they actually exercising that, you think?
Yeah, what?
You think anybody's exercising that, though?
I hope. Well, then let's get rid of the policy so nobody does. Okay, let's go back to transparency. It goes with the budget. It goes to the heart and soul of everything here. The budget is currently $147 million. It's soon to grow to $153 million.
When we do that, we leave out the fact that you're spending SPLOST money too. I mean,
no, SPLOST is a separate account.
Right, but to say the budget, I mean, people just hear that budget and they say, well, that's all we're spending is $147 million. That's not true.
No, that's not true. Your SPLOST money is a separate capital account. I'm talking about the operating budget to operate the schools, make the payroll, et cetera, et cetera. $153 million. The superintendent in last week's meeting on April 18th submitted an 8-page proposed budget for next year. Well, now, I got to tell you this. If you were running a business that employed over 2,000 people, that transported 9,000 students a day coming and going, had 24 branch offices, and you had executives in every one of those branch offices, don't you think the budget should be a little bit more than 8 pages? There was too many consolidated accounts, too many miscellaneous accounts. When I was a board member, John Zahner saw the need for this right away, and on the front page of the website, 177 pages of clarity. You knew where the money was going, and you shed light on it, and people will begin to question, why are we doing this? And questioning is a good thing. But how can you question consolidated accounts, though you should? So one of the things that I want to insist upon is a transparent budget. We need to know what's going on.
Absolutely. Bill, we got to take our final break here. We're going to come back with 3 minutes. I'm going to come back and say, Bill, speak. It's yours. We'll take that final break right now. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System, Oak Mountain Academy, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
As a graduate of Oak Mountain Academy, I've found that my experience on the mountain prepared me beyond all expectations. As a junior at Auburn University, I approached my studies with great confidence thanks to what I learned at OMA. When I think back on my time on the mountain, I think of my teachers. Their genuine love and concern for me as a student was always evident, and now, as an adult, I still foster those relationships. I'm Carly Robinson, an Oak Mountain Academy alum. Visit oakmountain.us to see how you can offer your child an amazing opportunity to be a warrior.
8:55. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We got about 4 minutes left in our program with Bill Kecskes, one of 3 candidates running for the Carroll County Schools District Board of Education District 5 seat. And if you paid attention to the show up to this point, you know I don't even need to be here. So, Bill, please conclude.
Colin, please, you do. As many of you might know, I like to read state law because we are a society and a state of laws. There's one law, 20-2-49, and it says, in law, school board members hold special roles as trustees of public funds, including local, state, and federal funds, while they focus on the singular objective of ensuring each student in the local system receives a quality basic education. And although there are many measures of the success of a local board of education, one is clearly essential: maintaining accreditation and the opportunities it allows the school system students. I take that to heart. I took it to heart on my last term. I take it to heart now. And that's why I am so adamant about transparency of the budget. Are we spending the money as wisely as we can? One thing that I have a pet peeve with is every month the board approves fundraising requests for instructional supplies that the students should have already had. And I don't like turning our students into salesmen on the street, knocking on doors, pestering coworkers, mama's coworkers, raising money for supplies they should have already had. And if you add up all the fundraisers in the term of a year, it's the price of maybe 1.5 of those high-priced executives in the central office. Since I've been on the school board, that has been bloated and inflated. It's absolutely amazing. And I think this school board has the obligation and the lawful duty to look at the budget and say, are we allocating resources to the best benefit of the students?
Bill, we've got 30 seconds. I'm leaving my house, and you're coming by. You're knocking on the door. You want to sell me. You want to tell me why to vote for Bill Kecskes here. Give me 30 seconds, Bill. Let's check your time management.
I'll give you 24 hours a day on this position. Look, I'm 70 years old. It's in the heart. It's a calling. It's not a job. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm donating the money. I love Carroll County. I've often said if I won the lottery today, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm staying right here with a fat bank account, but I'll probably end up donating a lot of it anyway. I love Carroll County, and I love my daughters. One of them was a valedictorian at Mount Zion High School. The other was head cheerleader and editor of the yearbook. Stephanie went on to West Georgia and earned 2 degrees this past December in MBA. I am grateful for all this county has given us, and I truly, truly want to give back in the form of full-time service. I don't have a job. I'm retired. I'm tired of growing corn because the squirrels steal it.
Bill Kecskes is one of 3 candidates running for the Carroll County Schools District Board of Education District 5 seat to take over for Donald Nixon, who did not seek re-election. Tom Sizemore, Curtis Steps also on that ballot with Bill Kecskes. Early voting begins Monday at the Carroll County Elections Office on College Avenue here in Carrollton. You can go out there between 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock Monday through Friday, and then Saturday in that first week from 9 o'clock until 5. But again, it's 3 weeks of early voting before Election Day, which is May the 24th. Bill, thank you, sir, for coming out. Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir. I enjoyed it.
And thank you for listening to this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 9 o'clock.